I'm just gonna I'll go over 2101 and then the next 2203.
All right.
Like I said, the 2101 is the intro course, foundational, focuses a lot on writing, ethics, what it's like to be a journalist, the state of the industry, things like that. AP style is a big part of this course. There's a small section on grammar. So the syllabus for this course, there's a book that just came out that we use, news reporting and writing. I think the most important thing probably for me to show you is just what the content is and, what, the assignments are. So I teach this class and my other class as a blended class. So what that means is that instead of meeting twice a week with my students, I only meet with them once a week. And then they have for their second class day, something that they do online. So while they have these overarching, assignments that they're doing, like their feature stories or enterprise stories, they also have these mini things that they do usually one a week because that's what they would be doing on their off day. So, and that's how the other courses was divvied up too. So, and these, I just call them mini assignments. Those are things that you can do in class or, have them do as homework or something like that. So you can also change them up a bit. I mean, obviously there's some things that you're not going to be able to do. Like one of the assignments my students do is I have them interview me and I'm really difficult. And like I critique their interviewing skills and how, they try to get information out of me. That's always a fun exercise. I had to start doing it that way because, when we went to Zoom, I would have them interview each other and then I would walk around and like creep on them and write down like how they were doing interviewing. But I like this format a lot better because I can mess with them a little bit. That's always fun. And also for me, it's one of the only times I get to see my students. Sometimes if you have a class that's fully online. So, but anyway.
I'm sure the comic in you loves that, Jeff.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So basically, this course starts off with talking about the state of the industry, review of grammar and AP style. So there are some online quizzes, one grammar quiz, 2 AP style quizzes, one AP style quiz is in the second week, and then one is in the middle of the semester because we go back and revisit how well or how not far they've come when it comes to AP style. 2 current events podcasts. I used to do current events quizzes where I would, write down the news of the week and have them answer questions about it, but that was miserable because nobody ever read the news. So what I did instead is I have them do 2 current events podcasts where they pick 5 news stories and they do a podcast and they give their podcast a name and then they read through the stories just like they would if they were, on the radio or TV or anything like that, just like a rundown of the stories. And I have a lot of students who do a lot of creative things with that. Some of them like to do themes. Like last semester, one of my students did all stories on cicadas because that's what was going on at the time. So she had 5 stories about cicadas and she put cicada noises in it. And it was just really, really good. So I've had a lot of, good assignments come out of the podcast assignment. One person did aliens. That was really fun. And then she used all this music. So I think they like that a lot. Hard news story. This is basically, I give them a whole lot of content and I make them, you're on the breaking news desk. You got to put it down into, I think it's 200 or 300 words. So, I think in this version, there's a plane crash and they have to decide what quote would be best and what information do I include or not include and that stuff. A speech story. There's a chapter all about, going to meetings and council and stuff like that. We used to go to events, like I would try to find a speech or something on campus that we could go to that they could write from. But now I just give them a speech to write about, and the whole point of that story is that they pick out the most important thing in this 20-minute speech. I've been giving them commencement speeches to write about. I try to make them, like, I think I did one with Conan O'Brien, and I try to have them watch something that is a little bit more fun. Even though I probably shouldn't, because if you're going to be writing meeting stories, it's going to be a nightmare. That's usually the first thing you have to do as a journalist. I always hated it.
Right.
Yeah. I would always just like fall asleep at school board meetings and stuff, but hey, you can make things a little bit more fun. And then we also have an obituary assignment, which I've had a lot of really good stories come out of this. I let them pick whether they want to write like a typical obituary or a life story. You know, it's more like a news story. And so my students, a lot of them write their own obituaries, and that's actually pretty cool. They write their own obituaries, or some of them make them funny, like satire. So some of them, like, you know, one wrote about her dad who got killed by a shopping cart or something, you know. So there's been a lot of good things that have come out of this course that I think are really fun. The first time I taught it, it was not as, I don't know, I don't want to say not as fun, but I guess it was not as fun. So I changed up the assignments, and I think it's really helped a lot. And then throughout, the feature story and enterprise story, those are the big stories that they work on all semester. The feature story has to be like 600 words. They have like the first half of the semester to work on it. They got to find someone to interview, do the interview, record it, put the story together. So it's like, you know, a big long thing. And then an enterprise story, where they try to find, you know, some issue locally or in their community to write about, like some kind of controversial issue, you know, try to help people in some way. And those are all the main, you know, big assignments. And then, you know, my discussions and mini assignments, they just have an intro discussion about the media, how to format quotes, interviewing, fake news, a digital media assignment, and then ethics and media law activities that they do. So those are all of the activities that are graded.
So this sounds really interesting to me. My question is, you know, we're offering the 2203 because our standards are aligned, our media arts writing class standards are aligned with this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting here going, do we have anything that aligns with this in our choices of classes that we give? You know, because I think getting AP style from you, because I've just been teaching them, you know, radio and like television scripting and things like that, and writing copy for that. But some of this is interesting to me. But I was like, oh, maybe we can just add this. But I'm realizing we can't just add it. We have to have a class that lines up to that. So maybe that's something we can just ponder.
Well, I mean, in the 2203 class, I do an AP style review early on in the semester.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could always give you materials that you could, you know, at least touch on that and, you know, do something with that in class. So,
yeah, I'd like to like take a look at this class deeper, like this, this semester, like not offer it. Obviously, I can't do that because we don't have anything that lines up, I don't think. But if I look closely at it and I'm like, hey, you know, this sounds like this class, then maybe we, you know, then maybe it's something we can think about for next year.
Yeah, definitely. And I have this master shell. I don't know how you could look at it. I mean, I could actually, you have a Sinclair email address?
I think so.
Yeah, because I
would imagine I have to.
I could always just add you to my current class that I'm teaching this, and you could just look around in there if you wanted to.
And
Jessica, her username I can get that to you.
Okay, yeah,
Because-
because I can just add her as like a teacher, and she can just go into my shell and look, and I can send her the link, so. So then you can look at each of the assignments in more detail.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. I only have 4 students in this class this semester, so it's kind of crazy. I didn't think it was gonna go, but they were like, we're just, everything's going. So it's like, okay, it's fine. It's less work.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just.
No, that's okay. I mean, Danielle, what else do you really think I should talk about?
I think this is good, like just talking
Okay.
about the assignments kind of in general.
Mhm.
Obviously, you're going to be the best resource for instructors that have questions regarding the curriculum or potentially, this is what they were thinking. Would this meet the needs of one of the assignments? Those sorts of things too.
Yeah.
Eli is popping in.
I guess I'll just go to the content and show how I have it divvied
Yeah,
up.
how it laid out. Yep, perfect.
So everything is just divided into topics. I changed it. I think last time I had it as weeks, so I just changed it all to topics. So there's topics that they go through, chapters that they read. I have them watch this John Oliver clip. I don't know if your students are allowed to watch John Oliver though. But it's set up that way, just like the other one was. And then I've gone through, I made sure all the links work. So all the links and all the other one, 2203 should also work. I took like all summer to like go through and click every single thing so I could make sure everything was linked up. But all the course materials and samples are at the bottom. But that's how it's laid out, just like the other one. So
who's teaching? What career tech teachers are teaching this class?
we don't know yet.
You don't know yet. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so early in the school year. We've received a few course requests regarding, courses that from any tech prep area. It's kind of too early to tell who all plans to run it.
Mm-hmm. I think I had talked to Trisha in Centerville, and she was thinking about doing this one because she did this one before. So it's a little different now, but I think I told her about the changes that I made, and she really liked them. So because we both hate current events quizzes. They're a nightmare. So yeah, the grade book's in there, all the grades are in there. You would just have to put your put the grades in for like the quizzes. Those kind of grades would flow right in. The other things you would have to grade via the rubric that I have in the course materials section, and then you would assign them a grade and put it in the grade book. So all right, I think that's good for that one. I know Eli just got here though. I'm done with the one he doesn't know
Okay.
about.
I'll say the one course request I've received for 2101 is from Eli, so spoke a little too soon. Eli, do you have any specific questions about the course?
I don't know if you can hear me or not. Can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't. I taught this one maybe 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and I heard you say that it's changed a little bit.
Yes.
When you said current events quizzes, that brought back memories.
Yeah, it's nightmare. So
but-
we don't do those anymore. So I can tell you,
Okay.
I can just briefly tell you the changes that I've made. So
Okay.
instead of doing current events quizzes, which everybody hated, they now do 2 current events podcasts where they choose 5 stories, and then they can get creative with them. They can do a theme,
Okay.
and they just read it like they're broadcasting. So that way it
Perfect.
forces them to read the news. And it can be something that they want to read. So
Okay.
that's in place of that. There's a hard news story, which I'm not sure if that was done in the last class, where I give them a bunch of information and they have to decide what is most important and put it into a story. The speech
Okay.
story is new. They have to watch a speech, decide what the most important thing is, and then the obituary assignment is new. They can write an
Okay.
obituary or life story about anybody that they want. A lot of my students write their own obituary, so. Those are the main changes. And then just like my other class, I have these mini assignments that can be done in class, and they're all like previews of and all connect to the main story assignment. So.
Okay, that sounds good.
Eli, I have a quick question since you taught this 3 years ago. How did this line up with what class was this as far as web exam is concerned? Because if 2203 is media arts writing, then what class is this?
That's a good question. I didn't even give my web exams last year, so those aren't real fresh in my mind. We like for what we do in mass communications here, just the journalism writing is perfect for us because we produce a quarterly magazine. And so I'm going to teach this stuff no matter what. Actually, we just started talking. I just showed them the AP style book today. So it's perfect for what we do. But as far as the web exams, I'm not real good with those. I just give them when I need to.
Okay, so you don't have to connect this with any particular class through the arts and comm through the
I honestly don't know.
Okay. All right.
We did identify this course as a match to, hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Or actually, nope, just kidding. Sorry, 2101 is not a match. I'm sorry. I get out of arts and comm, I start talking about construction. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, okay, so there is no match to this.
There's no particular match. We had realized the one that used to be a match to this actually fit better with 2203, and that's why we had offered 2203 and added it. Yep. So while 2101 is a great course, it doesn't necessarily align to a particular ODE course or subject code.
Yeah, and to take the 2203, you no longer have to take the 2101 first, because I've changed them, and I think students, I mean, they're both pretty heavy writing, so I think this one is just more introductory. Yeah, developing those practical skills. All right, I can go over to the 2203. I have not changed anything in that course, so it's the same course you saw last year. Let me see, where am I going? The only additions I did make was I did put like more samples in. I know, Joanne, you had asked for some more samples, so I went ahead and added those here, like some of the multimedia projects and things like that. So there's a lot more samples. I have gone through and connected every single link, so everything should work perfectly. Like I said, you don't have to take 2101 in order to take this one. There is a new book for this year. It's a new edition. However, I will say this, if you still use the old book, I can tell you which chapters match up with which one. So
I never had any book.
okay.
Actually, wait a minute. I think we did get a book. Yeah, we did get a book.
Yeah, so the book is updated, but the old book still works. I could just tell you what chapters if you just want to use the old book. A lot of the content, there were some additions, but I didn't think it was, we always have to use the new edition, which I absolutely hate. So
okay, we just didn't have copies for the kids, but all right.
Yeah. So this course is just like it was last year. The activities and the assignments are the same. They have to do their social media posts and analysis. They have to do their blog posts. And I think one, issue that I typically have with this course is the social media part, because a lot of students don't either can't use social media like when they're at school, or their parents don't want them to have it. So what I did in my class is I've had some teachers have made like their own class Facebook pages, and they post that way. I've also had people create Facebook pages as their blog. So like, you know, like the Dane Daily News has a Facebook page, their blog has a Facebook page. But that's the big part that of this course that I think needs to be looked at. Like how is the social media part? I mean, are your kids able to get on social media and use social media? Because the big part of the social media assignment, the first part is learning how to write a social post that, you know, is engaging, you know, people will want to click. The other part is the analytics for it. I think that the analytics can be like in the back seat, you know, because it does get pretty technical. So if you wanted them to just write like on a Word document, here's what my Facebook post would say, and here's the photo I would use, here's a tweet I would do, here's a photo I would use. I mean, it could be done that way.
Okay, so rather than posting to one of their social media sites and giving us the link to that,
Mhm.
they would just say, this is what I would write and this is the picture I would use.
Yes. And then you could just grade just the post part without the analytics part.
Okay.
But if they have a blog, they should be able to see how many times their blogs were clicked, you know?
Yeah.
Usually that you can do that, and they could do analytics that way. Like, this was my best blog, you know, and they could do that way.
And so when you said the blog could have a Facebook page, are you saying they shouldn't create a separate blog? That the blog
No, they do create a blog, but then the blog has its own Facebook page and Twitter page. So one of my students, she did this. She was doing horses. She worked at a horse place. So she, just a minute, Horse Place was the name of her blog. So she went on Facebook and Twitter and created the Horse Place Facebook page, the Horse Place Twitter. And so it had its own Facebook and Twitter page.
So that was the issue. The kids didn't want to post this stuff.
Yeah, if they didn't want to post like to their friends and things like that.
So like, yeah, like LaRon did Pointer Athletics last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our, okay. So that's a really good suggestion. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the other route to go, because some people are like, ew, I'm doing schoolwork, I don't want people to see it. Like, come on, you should want people to see your writing. But yeah, that's also an option. So there's a lot of options, I think, for the social part that we can talk about and we can work through. They still have the 10 blogs, the audio slideshow, video project, and then the multimedia project that they do at the end as a group, which can be, you know, the multimedia project is pretty big, and it has multiple elements, and you can, you know, as long as they have at least 4 multimedia elements, those elements can be whatever you want them to be. So, you know, if you're more focused on radio or more focused on TV, you could use more video versus more audio, you know, however you would want to do it. So, and then just like my other class, I have the weekly assignments. Those are things that could be done in class, and they're basically just participation points. So. Any questions about this course? Just the content? It's the same. As last year.
I would really like to, last year was so nuts, but I would like to get just involved in the beginning, because it's kind of helpful for us, I think, to be able to say, the professor
yeah,
looking for your work, or
yeah, I'm available to come to classes anytime, you know.
You are.
Yeah, I can come to your class. I'm only teaching on Tuesdays this semester, which is weird. I teach at 2 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. and then the rest of my days are open. So
our juniors start at 7 a.m.
Oh God, I could be awake at 7 a.m. I'm usually awake at 7 a.m. I go to bed at like 8, 9 o'clock.
Well, we can make it more reasonable. Get you here at 8, maybe. That sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll come to your class. I might be in my pajamas. All right, so again, the content is set up like the other one. Everything is by topic. Everything is there. All the drop boxes are there. And this first topic where I review what good writing is, this is where you could add something about AP style if you wanted to. So I do review the AP style from the 2101 here, so I can always give you more materials if you wanted to add on there a little bit. Well, yeah, that's that. Same as it was last year. So
Thank you.
Next steps from us to get rolling. We obviously have to get our juniors in tech prep first. So I think we're going to try to do that.
You can request a course without having students like ready to go in the eLearn shell as well. So Megan probably would have sent you a welcome back email within the last like 2 weeks or so, and it had like the link to do the course request and all of that. So you can go ahead and click or request which courses. And now, if I remember correctly, you and Jeff work together on the courses, right? So if you want, Joanne, if you want to be just the one person to request the courses, and then in the notes field, say, please add Jeff Crowell to the eLearn shell as well, just so that we don't have like duplicates when you don't need them, I think should be okay. And then I know that tomorrow there will be someone from our office helping with applications. So I don't know if they're coming by your room or not, but you can give us or like let us know when your juniors have submitted their applications, and then we can add the students later. And so you can have content access and those sorts of things for you to review before the students have access.
And I can send you this document. A lot of teachers find it helpful because it breaks everything down. Like, here's basically what you're doing for the first topic. Here's the assignment and then the due date. So if you wanted to sit down and, I mean, you don't necessarily have to do every single thing in order. You can move things around if you wanted to. And this is kind of, I just use this every semester, you know, so I know exactly what assignments need to be turned in. So, but you can move the assignments around if you want to. If you want to teach slideshows first, you know, you could just change that, you know.
As long as the drop boxes are like the deadline, you know, that was
Yes.
becoming an issue last year.
Yeah, all the drop boxes, there's no deadlines on anything. I took everything off, so you could put any deadline on it that you want, or if you wanted me to help you put the deadlines on the drop boxes, I could do that. So. I think that's really it.
All right, we'll move on to 2203.
This is 2203.
I thought you were looking at 2101. I've moved to construction. I can't come back. I've moved on. I'm so sorry. I thought we were, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, and all these topics, they're not locked at all. So like I said, and you can move them around, like just whoop, like you can move one right above the other one if you feel like changing the topics up, you know.
So yeah, I'd say if you want to request the courses, that would probably be the next step for you. And then work on getting the junior students applications submitted. And then from there, just let me know when the majority of your junior students have submitted that information, and then we can get them loaded into the shell. But at least if you request the course, then Jessica can get the content loaded for you. So then once the students are in, then everything's ready to go. So, well, thank you. Eli, do you have any other questions?
No, we should be good, or my students should be good. Marion got the juniors registered on Tuesday. But I mean, we're in no rush whenever.
Okay.
Not sure what our next step should be. Like, everyone should be in. And then Josiah helped to get one student who was doing CCP already. So I think she already had an account, but so yeah, whenever.
Okay, I want to say I'm coming to help with applications sometime, but maybe not. Yeah.
You
September-
might be. Okay.
I don't know.
I know Marion said we were early, so.
Yeah, all good. Okay, great. Well, thank you all so much for being on here today and participating. And Jessica, thanks for hopping on. I
Yeah,
will.
no problem. Y'all can email me anytime.
Thank